you, Jen. Okay. Thank you. I'm truly excited to be able to speak here in the coolest company in the world, and also my favorite company in the world. If there's anything you want to remember after this talk, please pay attention to the next 20 seconds. And after that, you can relax. Okay. Is that working? Oh, sorry. Okay. This is Chinese character for person. It looks just like an A without the horizontal line. This is a Chinese character for work. That looks just like an I in the alphabet. When we put person and work together, that means artificial, just like AI. My name is Shaolan. I'm the founder and creator of Chineasy. Later, I'm going to share with you a little story how I came about with Chineasy, and then we will spend majority of time to show you how the system works, and hopefully by the end of this talk, you can have a certain knowledge about Chinese characters in your mind, and when you go to Chinatown, you will make sure that you order the beef or lamb rather than snake. So basically, how Chineasy came about. I grew up in a family when we never buy arts because we make them. My grandfather was a professor of ceramic art. He made this museum-grade piece. My father is also a professor of ceramic art. My mother is a calligrapher. Between my parents, they made this. My 13-year-old daughter created this piece of artwork. My 11-year-old son did this when he was 9. So from very early on, I realized that I just don't have the talents they have. I'm the black sheep in the family. And so I started to study science, chemistry, MBA, everything analytical, scientific, geeky. I did all that. And then I realized that I struggled between my left brain and my right brain, and I couldn't strike a balance. So it was not until a couple years ago when I realized that my British-born children were not interested in learning Chinese, and they found learning Chinese very hard. And also, when I spoke to a couple of my friends, they share the same frustrations. So I thought, how hard could that be? As a geek, I used my computer and broke down thousands of characters. And I prioritized them, analyzed them, tried to find a pattern, how things can become easier by using a simple method. And of course, after that, I used the sugar coating, like illustrations, animations you can see. So before then, we start with our kitchen. I drew on the napkins and shared with friends and family, and then I started my teaching career as a free Chinese teacher. And Ted heard about that, so I gave a talk in 2013, and then in the audience there was a person called Bill Gross. He wrote a little blog on LinkedIn. In 2 days, when I was still at TED, I was chased by 8,000 people from LinkedIn. Is there anything we can subscribe to? Is there any book we can buy? Is there app to download? I said, no, I don't have anything. So, oh, hold on, please don't release my talk. Let me go home and cook something. So TED eventually put my talk online. Millions of people watched it, and they share it, and then we put this very simple website, and I did Kickstarter campaign. On Facebook, we teach every day, and now we have 3 million people learning Chinese characters every day with us, and we share our knowledge, and at the same time, we also design the quiz and games to make it more fun. And then, as Jen just said, we did a Kickstarter, and then at the same time, without asking it, we was truly flattered and honored that we were recognized by several credible and really incredible awards, and we are truly grateful with that. But then, after all that, what is Chineasy? How does it work? Now, let's start. It's basically a building block system to allow you to understand the characters very quickly by deciphering it. Some people call that as Chinese alphabet. So instead of having 26, we have like 60 or 70. But don't be frightened about that, because once you recognize a few, you can start constructing very quickly. You remember this is a person? 2 people together, that means to follow. 3 means the crowd. If the person stretched the arms wide, this person is saying it was this big. And then when you add 1 extra stroke on the top of big, that means men, because in ancient China, men had long hair. They put the hair up and put a pin on top. So with the extra pin on top, that means adult men. Now you learn 5. Big person means adult. Big crowd is the public. Crowd person means people. Adult man and person means madame. Why madame? Because in ancient China, female were men's property. Man's person, that means madame. So by adding 1 extra stroke, by combining them differently, very quickly you build a knowledge for some very, very basic words. Person and a fish, that means mermaid. On the left, we have a woman. 2 women together, that means argument. 3 together, that means adultery. Okay, you laugh here, right? But actually, that's from very sad historical fact. The shape of woman originally was a woman kneeling on the floor. That shows her submission to her man. So that shows gender inequality. In ancient China, they often have 3-4 generations underneath the same roof. So mother-in-law naturally doesn't get on with the daughter-in-law. So inevitably, they have argument when they're underneath the same roof. You have to think what it means when you have 3 women. This is a boy. A woman and a boy together, that means good. Again, that goes back to the ancient history. A woman was only good when she had a boy. Everybody can say ni hao. You know that's how are you. Ni is you. Hao is good. You good. That means how are you. Now you know this word. This is good. Hao. This is king. A female king is the queen. The son of the king is the prince. This is work. A working person is a worker. Person's work is artificial. Put a woman in front of work here, woman has become an adjective. So female worker. This is a mouth. It's just a square. The person and the mouth together, that means population. That's from the ruler's perspective. How many mouths do you need to feed in your territory? This is water. The water coming out from your mouth, saliva. Water cow is buffalo. For Chineasy, we not only want to show you how to recognize symbols quickly, we will also take it seriously as a design project. So for every single character, we start with a simple idea, and we eventually come out with even 20 or 30 ideas. And then we show different people, sometimes my children, and sometimes my friends, and a lot of non-native speakers, because we want to know how we can really create something universal without having cultural reference, it doesn't matter what linguistic background you are. So we also make fun of it. We dress up this woman. This is a character for horse. We try different ways. How about this? Change the colors. We eventually decided to go for this version. And then we can have a fun. Okay, Chineasy not only address objects, things you can see with a shape and form. How about more difficult words, like abstracts, something like a concept or motion? We try to address that. This is a character for yourself. It looks like spaghetti being bended. How do we draw that? Any idea how you want to draw it?
Point at yourself.
You got it. That's how we do it. Point at yourself. How about this one? This how many? How many? It's a very common word. You see that all the time, every day, in every single article. How many? How to draw it? How about this? This is a verb, to owe something, to owe someone money. Owe, to owe. How to draw it? How about that? On the left, we have up. On the right, we have down. This is a character for west. Direction west. How to draw it? Is there any shape and form? We decided to make fun of the cowboy. This is a character for north. We thought about many directions, pointed to the north, but where is north? People may say that's up. Maybe they may say that's arrow. We decided to make fun of political leaders. This is a character for half of something. That looks pretty symmetrical. So can we draw something half? Oh well, we try this. Half of the apple, but people may say that's apple. Half of the orange, maybe. We decided to go for this one. Half evil, half good. This is a character for gold. Now we are talking about color. Adjective, gold. How should we draw gold? Gold bar, gold coins? Gold temples? Yeah, can be anything. We decided, hey, maybe that's a good idea because those people have a lot of shiny stuff they wear every day. We are in Google, so let's talk about modern words. On the left, we have a net, a physical net. On the right, we have, guess? Friend. Okay, that's right. So, on the left, the net is not only the physical net, that also means the internet. The net friend is your cyber friend. Remember woman, when it's used in the front of an object, it's adjective. That means female friend. And here it's actually more specific. That means your girlfriend. Do you remember the one on the left? Up. Up the net. What does that mean? Upload. To get on the web. Get online. Next one. Okay, who wants to answer this? Down net. The internet's down. That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's get offline. Yeah, so up or down is your action. So you get on, you get down. And if you put up and car, let's get in the car. Down the car, get off the car. Right. You all know this word, even without me saying it. The one on top is wind. And then we have water. Wind and water, what is that? That means feng shui. That's exactly how it's pronounced. So wind is a combination between, feng shui is a combination between wind and water. Why is that? Feng shui is actually not starting from something superstitious. That was actually very practical knowledge in ancient China emperors used. They had to decide where to set their capital, and they have to study the geography and where is the best place for defense, where is good for agriculture, and where is good for farming. So they have to decide all that by using all the terrain, the weather, the climate, and they have to decide all that. And then so feng shui is in fact, in ancient China, that was architectural design. That was a civil planning. And then when you go into the micro level, that's then become the interior design. And then nowadays people may think, oh, it's just about where to put a clock and where to put a fan. And this is all misleading. The true feng shui in the ancient time was actually very practical survival skills. We also make stories. This is in the previous book. We try to tell Peter and the wolf story within 10 spreads. Okay, Chinese is not really science. Imagine the ancient Chinese cavemen. They saw their wife that drew a woman. They saw the dog that drew a dog. And they saw a rock that drew a rock. That's how they started. So let me tell you one thing, good news. Second thing you can remember today, Chinese is easy. It can't be that hard. Can you imagine any other language in the world has been able to be passed down for more than thousands of years and been spread across more than billions of people without proper technology, without any learning app, and without any way of transmitting in the ancient time, and they still learned how to use it? It can't be that hard. And the way Chineasy works is just like you look at the sky. There are billions of stars. In your eyes, you see this. Chinese eyes, when they look at the same stars, they see this. So what we try to do in Chineasy is we try to find a pattern to guide you. Therefore, you can take the first step forward. In this book, I think you all have it. Let's have a little of a guide tool. It's very different from the previous one. Oops. It's grouped by subject. And I was looking for a challenge for myself, so I really made myself like hell. I put so many constraints when I created this one. Chinese is not created by subjects. People drew any random symbol. Over the thousands of years, millions of people participating in this movement, creating language. So how can they be grouped by subject? They can't. But we still try to do that. In the first chapter, you will learn numbers from 1 to 10. And we not only show you how to recognize them, we also show you, hey, this number is a lucky one. For what reason? For example, number 4 is a bad one. Why is that? Because of the pronunciation. It's the same sound as death. And that's why when you go to Hong Kong, Singapore, or many places in China, you don't have the 4th floor. And some of them even get rid of the entire from 40th to 49th. So they skip many floors. And that's why many places, if you want to buy property, in case they have a 4th floor, they always give you a discount. So once you know 1 to 10, then you can add from 100. You add a few characters, then you can read the clock, and add a few characters, you read the calendar. This is the character for dollar. Then you can start counting money. We are just talking about chapter 1. Chapter 2, we will show you the 5 elements and how the 5 elements form the cosmos view in ancient Chinese philosophy, and also about yin and yang and how that affects people's day-to-day life, even in modern China. We talk about people, animals, nature, how to describe things, and we talk about health and well-being, and of course, transportation and travel is important. And then after all that, you will be able to read the world map. And you will be able to read the Chinese map and the tube map too. Not all of them, but you get a clue. What we can promise is, okay, we don't promise everything, but what I can promise is your Chinese will be as good as my Japanese. How good is my Japanese? I don't speak a word of Japanese, but I have no problem going to Japan because I read. I read their newspaper, and I read their tube station, tube sign, and then I read the menu. I can even communicate by writing to say what I want to read. I can even talk about Japanese literature, about Murakami. I can talk about that with Japanese people, but I don't speak a word of Japanese. We talk about modern life, like a net, sports, activities, and then most importantly, that's the must-read chapter. You need to know what you eat when you go to Chinese restaurants. Make sure you don't order snake or turtles. And you know, if you are vegetarian, if you see the grass sign, then that's more about vegetables. Okay, so the purpose here is really about reading only? No, I think we are much more ambitious than that. We would love to share the beauty of this culture and language with people outside the native Chinese-speaking regions. And we would love to show you not only the language, the philosophy, the mentality, because the language itself is the best medium for you to understand the culture. Lots of our followers, they said, hey, I lived in China for 5 years, and I never tried to learn how to read. Everybody always started from how to converse because it's convenient. But in fact, by knowing the characters, you not only know the road signs, not only the menus, the most important thing is you understand their psychology. You understand their mentality. That's true understanding of any civilization language. Thank you.